When I first read Dr. Brewer's resume, I was astounded at the depth and the breadth of his credentials and, of course, of his experience in higher education. I was also elated that when I read further and discovered that the preacher's kid is an ordained minister himself, and he preaches somewhere almost every week. And I did two things immediately. First, I thanked the Lord for this man as I asked God to send Dr. Brewer to Louisiana College as our next president. Second, I enthusiastically shared Dr. Brewer's resume with our search committee. To say we were impressed is an understatement. We were thrilled. I dare say we could have been led to a candidate who could speak the language of educators and preach the sermons of Baptists any better than Dr. Rick Brewer. We do not look to the future of Louisiana College with we do not look to the future of Louisiana College with hopeful anticipation. No, we look to the future of Louisiana College with undaunted confidence that God is about to do a great work in our midst through this fine couple, Rick and Cathy Brewer. We're thankful to God and to the Brewers that they have joined our quest at such a time as this.
How does one muster the words for what God has already done in my life, in my marriage, my career, and especially on this day? I've agreed to undertake this assignment from God at the helm of Louisiana College. Words like gratitude and appreciation come to mind as I'm humbled that our God and the trustees of Louisiana College have entrusted me with the ministry of the office of President of Louisiana College. We're grateful. The marching orders I've assigned to myself for the near term have 3 points. And who wouldn't they? You know, I'm the son of a Baptist preacher, and I'm ordained. So we got to have 3 points, maybe a point, maybe a joke in there too, right? But the 3 points, and it's what I practice in my daily living. Well, first two things I do every day is I pray and I read. I do a lot of reading. In college work, there's a lot of stuff to read. I enjoy reading Scripture, you know, because thy word have I hid in my heart that I may not sin against God. I learned how to read by reading the Bible as a preschooler. And so the Word of God's always been a part of my life. And so I read. And I read newspapers, and I read, you know, publications and those things. Because I'm a lifelong learner. One of my 5 strengths is learner. You done the Strengths Finder? You know what I'm talking about? So one of mine, my number one is ideation, which I enjoy being creative. But I pray, read, then the other 3 things is I listen, I learn, and I lead. Louisiana College needs a president right now who can listen to the constituents, who can listen to the people inside and outside the organization, who will sit down and listen with faculty, listen to students, listen to staff, listen to coaches, listen to alums, listen to donors, listen to the community, listen to the media. And that's what we're here to do. We're going to listen. And then we're going to learn. Why listen if you don't try to learn? We're going to learn. And as we learn, we trust that we'll just kind of polish the apple here at Louisiana College. Her greatest days are ahead. We look back with conviction, but we look forward with courage. Our greater day. We're turning a new chapter. It's a new day. Clearly, this is a thing of God. And as we look at our experience in the years that we've had at Charleston Southern University, and I've worked with one of the greatest college presidents in America, Dr. Jerry Hunter, who's mentored me. He's known me for 35 plus years. And what I've learned from him in terms of strategic planning and revenue development and building a college from a college to a university and being able to practice it there. We believe, as Dr. French said, for such a time as this, here's a college that just maybe need that skill set, might need that heart, might need that background. So I learn. I'm an educator. I love to teach. I teach in our graduate school. Now, I'm going to be too busy here probably to teach for a while. I got a lot of stuff that's going to have to happen here. But I've enjoyed my work with our faculty there at Charleston Southern. And my CV tells the things we've done there. I'm not going to rehash that. But we'll lead into the next phase of Louisiana College tenure. I promise to learn with a hunger that will not be sated until academic fairness and excellence are attained. I also promise to apply what I've learned in a manner that brings favorable repute to Louisiana College and glory to the God we serve. And then I lead. I'm going to lead. You'll have access to my CV or my bio. You readily observe both a foundation and a track record for leadership. I teach leadership in our MBA program, or did, until today. However, my resume is so much more than that because it's a testament to the grace of God and the power of the Holy Spirit and His leadership in my life. Good leaders know that great leadership is predicated on great followership. The life I've dedicated attempting to follow the will of God has written my resume. So my resume is not only a record of where I've been and what I've accomplished, but hopefully it's a predictor of where we're going. And that is a promise to my Louisiana College family and our extended Louisiana Baptist family across the state. Let me say this in closing, remind us all that we cannot get where we need to go if the president is the only one committed and involved. The passion I have for Louisiana College, I can't be the only one who's passionate about this. It's going to take a tribe. We have a gargantuan task ahead of us. It's God-sized. That's good, because God can handle it. You know, I frequently ask myself this question: what am I attempting to do today that will only happen if God shows up and does it? I like living at that place. That's kind of risky, but that's when God shows up. I mean, without faith, it's impossible to please God. So for my wife, Cathy, and I, empty nesters, our son's grown up. Our oldest son is a musician in Nashville, songwriter, producer, and he's the father of the world's greatest 2.5-year-old granddaughter, and he's married a young lady he met in school, and then my youngest son is a banker. So I got one son with a real job. That's the musician. No, that's the banker. And he lives in Georgia, and they have our grandson, and he's an incredible young little fella. He's going to be the linebacker. His name is Knox. It's a great name for a linebacker. And he's headed that way. But, so we're empty nesters. And, you know, years ago when Cathy and I met in college and began to become friends first, I had a little music group. She sang in it. She dated the drummer until I fired the drummer. You know, she was kind of like, remember Linda trying to break up the band, remember with Paul McCartney? And so, we fell in love and been married 37 plus years. God's blessed our marriage in many ways. We're excited about the future, and now where I was going with that was it's been a long day. It's been a long couple of days. We used to sing a song together. It was a Lanny Wolf song. It said, "Lord, whatever it takes for my will to break, I'm willing to do. Wherever you go, you know, sunshine or rain, sorrow or pain, that's what I'm willing." When you're 18 years old, you'll sing that. You know, at times, rather naive when you say that. You know, here we are 40 years later seeing, God, you've challenged us. Are we really willing to go? So we're going. We're coming. We believe this is answered prayer. We believe God has been in this from the very beginning. In fact, He was working here before we knew it, and He was working in our life before they knew it, and He brought it together. So finally, we'll lead, as I mentioned, and I want to challenge the faculty, which I've heard nothing but great things about the people here and their commitment and their passion for teaching and nurturing this holistic experience that we provide for students and will continue to provide. Heard nothing but great things about the faculty, staff, the coaches. The school has a wonderful academic reputation. We want to build off of that going forward. So I want to challenge the faculty, staff, students, alums, and other persons or constituent groups that state, we love Louisiana College. We're going to leave the past in the rearview mirror and get on board with what I believe will become the finest days that Louisiana College has ever seen.
So I want to throw it over to either of our Convergence Media persons for a question.
Hi, Dr. Brewer. Mark
Hi.
Klein, student here at Louisiana College, senior, as well as work over at Channel 5, the NBC-CBS affiliate.
I've watched you.
Oh.
I've watched you on video from when you were a student here.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, good stuff, man.
Thank you.
I think they ought to go ahead and give you Brian Williams' job now.
You know, I only made up half of my stories, so you don't have to worry about it.
As far as we know.
Well, as a student's perspective, LC has kind of a complicated relationship. It serves not only as an academic body, but also as a religious one. And most of the time, those two things work well together in harmony, but sometimes it's a very complex relationship. How are you going to seek to remain balanced between LC as a school and as a church affiliate too?
Well, it's a college. Louisiana College is a college, not a church. We're certainly a mission of church and a partner in ministry, obviously, with Louisiana Baptist. But we're a college. We're preparing students to go on and have fabulous careers because we believe that we need Christian leaders in every domain. We need Christian leaders. We need Christian teachers, nurses, doctors, you name it, and media people. And so, Abraham Kuyper, he talked about the 7 cultural mountains, and the 1% at the top of each of those mountains influences that particular piece of the culture, whether it's the arts and entertainment, or business, or government, and so forth. Well, we need to develop that next generation of leaders who can earn the right to be heard. You gotta have a great education. You can't back up on that. What students are looking for today going to Christian colleges, the #1 thing they look for, what is its academic reputation? They know it's a given that it's going to have chapel and there's going to be Christian professors. That's a given. But what is its academic reputation? And then the second thing to look at, what is the diploma or degree from their value? What's the value? Can I get a job? And then after that, issues of curb appeal, cost, location. But we're gonna stay strong on that, on our, and we'll have a good balance of scholarship and devotion. Because we're going to look through and beyond the created order, okay? Bring it all. General revelation, special revelation. We look through and beyond it, and we'll discover. This is the tough part. This is where you cannot be a lazy-minded thinker in the Christian college world, is we look through and beyond the created order, and we discover and identify and reveal the Christ-centeredness in everything. Man, we're all a part of that story, that meta-narrative. Creation, fall, redemption, restoration. Every one of us in that room, every one of us in the room right now, we're in that story. That's happening in our lives right now. So how can we help students identify that? In a Christian college, it's wonderful because we can pursue and know that all truth is God's truth. So we can go after every subject matter because there's nothing irrelevant to Jesus. And nothing Jesus is irrelevant to.
I'm happy to have the town talk here today, so either one of you jump in, and after which we'll just take...
Did I leave any questions? Did I leave anything undone?
Hey Rick, I'm Randy Benson. I'm the editor of the Town Talk here.
Randy, good to meet you. Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about your relationship with students at Charleston Southern? I'll give you a little disclaimer here. We've already spoke to the president of the Student Body Association at Charleston Southern. He had really nice things to say about you and your relationship with him and his relationship with you. So I'm just curious to explore that a little further.
I love college students. I've worked with college students in that age group now for over 35 years. And nothing gets my heart and my blood pumping to see students go through that transformational experience. So we prepare graduates, but also transforming lives. I enjoy, the students know that my door is always open. If it's closed, I'm in a meeting or I have an appointment. But I have an open door policy. Come on by and see me. I love the ability to help students explore new ideas and to help them flourish. That's what I really desire to do, is to help students flourish in the future, understand their giftings, and hopefully identify their calling. Calling is a great word. We get, what leads us, that word is voce, which is the voice of God. And you speak of vocation, vocatio, the voice of God. So I love spending time with students talking about, where's God speaking to you? Where does he want you to lead and go in the future? Where, in the business world, the medical world, whatever. I spend a lot of time with students, obviously, half through the years. I love athletics. You know, that's been a part of my leadership there at the school. So our basketball team is playing in the tournament tomorrow, first round. They told me they're going to get another ring, so that's good. So I spend time with students. They've been in our home. We eat in the cafeteria with students. Hopefully I'm approachable, Randy. We strive to be that. I know sometimes when you got the big job, they think, oh, you know, can't go talk to him or her. But we've really worked at being approachable and empowering. It's a very important word, empowering students to achieve their goals, their academic and spiritual goals. And we want to do that here as well.
Anybody else?
Yes, I'm Lee Guidry. I'm with the town hall
Yeah,
as
Lee.
well. That's
Good to
my
meet
boss
you.
back there.
Good to meet
So,
you.
Make me look good.
I'll do my best. I'll do my best.
In reading your bio, you have some experience with SACS and
Yes.
also with the NCAA
Mhm.
evaluations. How will
All
you
those.
correlate that kind of experience here with LC moving forward and SACS?
Good question. I've been fortunate to work for a president who has been a part of doing accreditation visits himself for probably close to 30 years. So several years ago, he volunteered me to do some of that as well, and it's been a great experience. So we've been on both on-site and off-site visits, as well as I served as a QEP evaluator for a major comprehensive liberal arts university just a few years ago, helping, you know, guide that process both for SACS as well as at school. And the QEP, as you know now, is the major focus of reaccreditation, where you identify an initiative that's really going to be transformational for your institution. NCAA world, as a certifier, working with them for the past 15, 20 years, it's a process that they discontinued just a few years ago, but it mirrored the SACS process in terms of taking a deep dive and looking at finances, looking at governance, looking at student welfare, health and welfare of athletes. And I was privileged to serve as a certifier chair of a couple of, I think it's my CV, some schools where we led that charge, which is normally was a job they would hand off to a president, so we were honored that they asked us to do that. That experience that we've gained from both with Southern Association serving as an evaluator, for such a time as this, we trust will be of help to Louisiana College. We're going to do everything possible. That's the number one. When someone asks me what's the number one issue at Louisiana College, that's right. Is to let's move through this, and let's have probation removed, and be fully accredited. The school deserves it. The wonderful people here, the faculty, you know, the reputation of the school deserves it. So we're going to do all we can to work, and we'll do everything they ask us to do to be successful at the end of the day.
Tommy, can you talk a little bit about how you guys discovered each other?
Sure, I'd be glad to. We did a nationwide search. We did did advertising in several publications, and then of course we put out as much information as we could. We put a survey up. There were 2 surveys that were taken, one that we did not take, but we used that material to develop what we needed to do. And we received about a little under 40 recommendations. And we had some recommendations that we didn't have a full bio on. And we looked at it, and the fellows wanted to move on. And I said, you know, we need to check every one of them. And one of the ones we didn't have was Dr. Brewer's. And when we got it, we looked at that and we thought, my goodness, look at here. Here's somebody that's been trained for this job. I talked to Dr. Hunter last week, and Dr. Hunter said, look, God has trained Dr. Brewer for this task at Louisiana College. He said, I don't know anyone else as well qualified to take this task on as Dr. Rick Brewer. And so when we saw that, we contacted him, and he came down and we interviewed him. And then we asked him to come back and ask his wife to come with him, because we said, why do they want to leave Charleston for Pineville? And that's not putting Pineville down.
No,
Don't misunderstand.
no, not at all.
But he knew about things at Louisiana College, but we brought them down and spoke to them and talked with them. We brought them on the campus the 31st of January, let them look at the campus. We didn't want to paint any real nice, pretty pictures. They needed to know what the situation is. And we were unanimous. The committee was absolutely unanimous in
And when we saw that resume, even though we interviewed 3 people, we were unanimous in that. And we've never wavered. That's how we, and we saw all these credentials, all the experience, and then the enthusiasm, the energy that we saw. And that's what led us to do it.
That's why I work out 4 or 5 days a week. Get that energy back. I'm telling you, it's tough when you get old. Getting old is not easy, man. It's
Really?
not for wimps. Now, I know you're strong, but it's not for wimps, I'll tell you that.
Could you talk a little bit about finances? I know that's an issue here, raising money for dorm improvements and other campaigns that are going on.
And it goes back to strategic planning. One of the first things we're going to have to do is carve out a strategic plan for the future, which will be mission-driven and vision-focused. From that, with buy-in from the campus, because it needs to be broad-based. We will then begin to identify with priority what are the major funding needs before us as we design a campaign to move forward. Now, what we've done, my experience there, I've been a part of 2 $50 million campaigns that have both been successful at school. My CV has the other things in there. You know, I don't. But we'll hopefully utilize our gifting and skill there. It goes back to changing the image, changing the messaging of the school. I think there are a lot of people out there. I know there are a lot of people out there pulling for Louisiana College and want her to be successful, from the business community to the educational community to the church community. And so we want to partner with all those folk. We'll build a program here, a donor program, that will help students, because at the end of the day, this is about student scholarships. This is about enabling a student to be able to attain that education they desire. They want to be in a Christian college. They want an education that's taught through the lens of Christianity. They want a good education. And in many cases, it just becomes an issue of affordability. So how can we close the affordability gap? Well, we do that with donations, with people who invest in students because they see and want to be a part of helping a student achieve a dream. Now, there are people out there. And we're gonna go there. We're gonna be aggressive in going there. I've asked every board member to begin now, identifying names of people I can personally visit and call on. Now my #1 job is going to be raising the profile and raising revenue for this school.
1 or 2 more questions? Anybody? I see media pass there, sorry.
Local media guys.
Watch out for this guy.
So, according to our news releases, there's a brand new aluminum plant coming to central Louisiana.
It's great news.
1,500 plus workers, and that's families. Opening up in 2016 and by 2020, fully functional. So that is a huge influx of not only people, personnel, but billions of dollars of revenue. I just kind of see that, #1, as a great potential for students, and #2, for some kind of way for corporate funding that could come and help us. And I know this is real early and real premature, but any thoughts on how would you put together something to approach those guys?
All I need is an invitation. I'll come sit down and tell the story. Say, we're part of the community. Welcome. Welcome to Sinlaw. Is that what you call it? Welcome to Central Louisiana. And by the way, I was born in New Orleans, but my folks were in seminary. But
I have the CEO's name.
there we go. We're already on it. But we want to go, and there's all kind of opportunities, just like it happened to us in Charleston when Boeing moved in 3 years ago. It's become transformational for Charleston with the jobs they brought, and then the supply chain that comes with it. They're building an entire new highway just support, 4-lane just support Boeing, get employees to work. And in the same way there, here's the thing. You've got that company, not just that organization, but multiple ones in this part of the country. Opportunities for students to get real-world experience and internship. Now, that's a part of my heartbeat. I'm a thorough believer in service leadership, in the whole concept of service education. So the experiential education. And part of that experience is our internships. I know you do that in your world in media, because those internships are yielding jobs and opportunities. And many employers now are hiring people first. They see them as interns. But we want to build a relationship with those folks, just like every other business in the community, open up opportunities for our students. And I have a feeling it's going to open up probably some new academic programs where they're going to need accountants, they're going to need managers, they're going to need, you name it, marketers. That's a whole new area we're going to have to take a look at. The adult market, the adult education market is where the growth is in the future. And that will either happen for us through online programming or through programming we offer specifically for the working adult. That's a huge population of folk who are going back, either changing a degree, finishing a degree, and so forth. So we've got to look at all those things. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm drinking water out of a fire hose. And we're going to have to take our time, okay? We'll get there. I told the fellows when we met with them, I said, it took us about 20 years, really, to get things turned around there where we were. And I said, if the Lord willing, I want to work till my mid-70s. So, if the Lord is in it and keeps us and we do okay and they like me and I like them, I said, I'll give you the balance of my professional career to make this school a place that the alums are proud of, the community's proud of, Louisiana Baptist are proud of, the faculty, students, staff, and future students are proud of. That's my commitment.
Talk about what your timeline is as far as being here, coming here.
I'm starting tomorrow. I'm here next week when the group comes from Southern Association, and we had talked to Dr. French that I need a little time. I mean, I've been in that office 28 years. I got to clean that thing out. It may take a while, and I wear several hats where I am, so we'll have some time to transition. I'd already talked with my boss, my president back there, if this happened, and we looked at April 7th. It's a Tuesday after Easter, because just the way things are lined up, my older son, the musician, he was a worship leader at a mega church in Charleston before he went to Nashville, and they've asked him to come in and be the guest worship leader for Easter Sunday. Well, that means my granddaughter is coming. So we're going to be in town for Easter Sunday, and I'll get my other son to come over as well. So we know after that we're going to be 10 hours from one and 10 hours from the other. Of course, Delta can have you there pretty quick, and Mrs. Brewer will be visiting those grandkids quite often. By the way, I'm really excited for you to meet my wife. She really is the better part of this whole deal. Absolutely. She's worked her career in the medical area. She's worked for one of the major hospitals in Charleston at Trident Medical in administration for 20-plus years. She is excited about moving beyond that and to be a president's wife, and she's going to be my unpaid assistant. Or maybe I'm her assistant, but you know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Unless there's any other pressing question, my way call it closed. I believe Town Talk has a one-on-one with you.
All right.
Immediately follow.
Sure.
Anybody have just a burning question? One more?
Have you had a chance to talk with Coach Dunn yet and talk about athletics?
No, I haven't. I'm going to meet with the administrative council in the morning. We had hoped to meet with faculty this afternoon, but yesterday a rainbow, today a snow. I mean, go figure, right? So we're gonna meet with the administrative council in the morning, then get with some coaches, I think at 11, and I don't know, whatever they tell me to do, I'll do it. I look forward to it. I believe that he had asked, he didn't know the identity, but by faith, he had asked someone on the board if the candidate to be, if he would come back and speak at the banquet on the 14th of March. So we're going to do that too. But I look forward to meeting. I love football, I love basketball, I love all sports. And play them all, but and I see the vitality of it, the real value in a holistic experience, college experience for students to have athletics. Very important. You learn a lot. You learn a lot as an athlete about leadership. You learn a lot about serving. You learn a lot about sacrifice. You learn some important skills that will carry those young men and ladies a long way in life through athletics. So it's a vital part of a good college like Louisiana College. No question.
Thank you, Dr. Brewer, Dr. French. That concludes the press conference.
Thank you.